This is News Hour on Ifako Radio. Good morning, I'm Olanireti Ololade. The major headlines. Tinubu orders man for abductors, rescue of 25 pupils. FG receives Benin bronzes repatriated from US. Obasanjo Fayose reignites old enmity, trade insults. Investors lose fresh 1.17 trillion naira as bearish trading resumes. UK jails Nigerian doctor for $268,000 fraud. Sports. 2026 World Cup. Miss. Moment of profound sadness, NFF. Eagles gave their best in World Cup playoff, says Joe. Entertainment. VDM. Comedian Mr. Jollof risk jail over in-flight fight. News in detail. Tinubu orders man-hunt for abductors, rescue of 25 pupils. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu yesterday ordered security and intelligence agencies to immediately rescue the 25 female students abducted during an attack on government girls' comprehensive senior secondary school, Maga in Kebbi State. Gunmen invaded the school in the early hours of Sunday, killing Vice Principal Malam Azan Makuku the weeks they weighed the schoolgirls. Makuku was shot while attempting to shield the pupils. The attack, which occurred in Danko Wasagu local government area, threw the community into deep mourning. Residents have continued to offer prayers for Makuku, praising his courage and sacrifice. Kebbi police spokesman CSP Nafiu Abubakar said security operatives had launched a manhunt for the attackers. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, announced the president's directive for a high-level rescue operation. President Tinubu has reiterated that protecting every Nigerian, especially school children, remains a solemn responsibility of the state, he said in a statement. FG receives Benin bronzes repatriated from US. The Ministry of Arts, Culture, Creative Economy on Monday received 2 Benin bronzes, a bronze relief plaque, and a commemorative head from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, marking a significant milestone in Nigeria's ongoing effort to reclaim its cultural heritage. The artifacts looted during the 1897 British invasion of the Benin Kingdom were repatriated from the Museum of Fine Arts, Boston, United States. The Minister of Arts, Culture, Tourism and Creative Economy, Anatu Musawa, thanked Foreign Affairs Minister Yusuf Suga for facilitating the return. She described the moment as historic, saying, "This is a historic moment for Nigeria, the ministry, and the good people of the Benin Kingdom. We are still in conversation with several other institutions that hold these artifacts, and soon the process of returning them all to their rightful owners will begin." The Director General of the National Commission for Museums and Monuments, Olubile Olowe, also expressed gratitude to all facilitators, including NCMM staff and Royal Highness Prince Agatise Ereduawu, who led the struggle to recover the pieces. Obasanjo Fayose reignites old enmity, trade insults. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo and ex-Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose on Monday renewed their old enmity, with Fayose raining insults on the 89-year-old ex-president, whom he declared belongs to the zoo. The feud between the two dates back to the beginning of the Fourth Republic, when Obasanjo was president and Fayose was governor in Ekiti State. Obasanjo had sent the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission after Fayose over a poultry project embarked upon by Fayose, which Obasanjo declared was fraught with corruption. The relationship between them has been frosty over the years, with Fayose seizing any chance to lash out at Obasanjo, alleging his Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library in Ogun State is the product of corruption. Fayose repeatedly demanded that Obasanjo return his 10 million naira contribution to the building of the library. However, in a dramatic twist ahead of his 26th birthday last week, Fayose had visited Obasanjo in his Ogun home and invited the ex-president to the birthday. At the birthday party in Lagos, however, Obasanjo was a special guest of honor, recounted how Fayose had abused him severally in the past without battling an eye. Investors lose fresh 1.17 trillion naira as bearish trading resumes. The equities market began the week in the red as the all shares index of Nigerian exchange fell by 1.26% to close to 145 million trillion 159,000.77 points on Monday. The decline wiped off about 1.17 trillion naira from investors' wealth, dragging market capitalization down to 92.3 trillion naira. According to market data, the downturn was driven largely by heavy sell pressure on Dangote cement, which fell by a maximum of 10%, alongside declines in Tier 1 banks, including Zenith Bank, Access Holdings, and FBN Holdings. Despite the negative close, market breadth stood positive, with 28 gainers outperforming 24 losers. Sovereign Insurance led the gainers chart, while Dangote Cement and Enanwell, both down 10%, topped the losers list. UK jails Nigerian doctor for $268,000 fraud. The United Kingdom National Health Service Counter-Fraud Authority has announced that it secured the 3-year conviction of a Nigerian doctor, Richard Akinrolabu, for offences bordering on fraud by false representation to the tune of €268,000. From a website posted on the NHSFA website on Monday, Akinrolabu was employed as a trust-grade specialist registrar in obstetrics and gynecology by the Princess Royal University Hospital, and between 2018 and 2021, he gave excuses to his employer to reduce his workload. The statement noted that while he was being excused on the grounds that he was sick and unable to work night shifts, Akinrolabu secured employment with other hospitals and was working the same shifts he had claimed he could not take up due to medical reasons. Tension as Lagos street urchins stab Air Force officers. Residents of Olanireti in the Shasha area of Alimosho local government, Lagos State, were thrown into panic on Sunday, November 9, after street urchins stabbed a Nigerian Air Force officer. Community sources said during a visit to the area on Saturday that the incident began after a confrontation between the officer, who was not in uniform at the time, and some boys at a football pitch. A resident identified simply as Baba recounted some boys were playing football on Olanireti Street in Shasha when the ball hit the man, who was not in uniform. Nobody knew he was an officer. He tried to seize the ball and beat the boy who picked it. People begged him, but he punched the boy, and others around tried to restrain him from causing more harm. When he noticed a crowd gathering, he brought out a knife from his pocket. He stabbed the boy and threatened that if anyone touches him, he would stab them. In the process, some of the boys trying to hold him back sustained injuries. A fight broke out, and one of the boys managed to collect the knife and stab him. Nobody still knew he was an officer. They rushed him to the hospital, but we later heard he didn't survive the injury. Sports. 2026 World Cup miss. Moment of profound sadness. NFF. The Nigerian Football Federation has issued a heartfelt apology to President Bola Tinubu, the federal government, and Nigerians following the Super Eagles' failure to qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup finals. In a statement issued on Monday, the NFF described Sunday's loss to DR Congo in the African Playoffs final in Rabat as a moment of profound sadness for Nigerian football. For a nation where the Super Eagles serve as a symbol of unity, hope, and collective pride, missing out on the World Cup for a second consecutive time is a disappointment of great weight and emotional depth, the statement read in part. The football body acknowledged the gravity of the disappointment, noting that the NFF, the technical crew, and the players understand the expectations Nigerians rightly hold. We understand the passion and sacrifice of a country that has always stood firmly behind its team, through triumphs and trials, and we recognize that our collective efforts did not deliver the outcome the nation deserved, the statement added. Eagles gave their best in World Cup playoff, says Chell. Super Eagles coach Eric Chell believes the team gave their best during the 2026 World Cup playoffs after their hopes of reaching the tournament in the USA, Canada, and Mexico were dashed by DR Congo in Rabat, Morocco on Sunday. DR Congo picked Africa's tickets in next year's FIFA World Cup playoff at the expense of Nigeria, after beating the Super Eagles 4-3 on penalty at the Crown Prince Moli El Hassan Stadium. Frank Onyeka had given Nigeria an early lead before they were pegged by a Meshach Elia equalizer before halftime. The Super Eagles struggled into extra time against the Congolese before faltering in the shootout. The defeat condemns Nigeria to a consecutive World Cup miss, but Chad didn't entertain a scrutiny of the stints for the Super Eagles so far. I think you have to ask the NFF and the Commission, Chad replied when he was asked about the status of his job after the defeat. I did well. We worked and I tried to give my best. We gave our best. The players and the officials, he added. Entertainment. VDM comedian Mr. Jollof risk jail over in-flight fight. Social media activist Martins Ose, popularly known as Very Dark Man, and comedian Freedom Atekboyi, aka Mr. Jollof, may face criminal prosecution following their clash aboard a United Nigeria airline flight on Monday. There was commotion on the Asaba Lagos flight after what started as an argument between the two escalated into a physical fight. Confirming the incident, Very Dark Man posted a video on his Facebook page claiming he had dealt with Mr. Jollof during the altercation. His post read, I don't chop jollof. I don't chop jollof father for the inside the plane. He bites me, man, with a bite, insisting that he confronted the comedian. While the cause of the altercation remained unclear, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has condemned the act, noting that the two would face sanctions. In a post on X, the Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection at the NCAA, Michael Achimugu, stated that the conduct of the two influencers was a violation of aviation safety rules. Recap of the major headlines. Tinubu orders manhunt for abductors, rescue of 25 pupils. FG receives Benny bronzes repatriated from US. Obasanjo, Fayoshe reignite old enmity, trade insults. Investors lose fresh 1.17 trillion naira as bearish trading resumes. UK jails Nigerian doctor for $268,000 fraud. Sports. 2026 World Cup miss. Moment of profound sadness, NFF. Eagles gave their best in World Cup playoffs, says Chell. Entertainment. VDM, comedian Mr. Jollof, risk jail over in-flight fight. Follow us on all our social media handles: Facebook at Ifako Radio, YouTube at Ifako Radio, WhatsApp at Ifako Radio, X at Ifako Radio, Instagram at Ifako_radio. For news reporting, contact us at ifakoradio@gmail.com or call or WhatsApp 091 2222 7433. Special thanks to the news producer Olanireti. Thanks for watching. I'm Olanireti Ololade. Have a victorious Tuesday. God bless Ifako Jai.
Looking for reliable brand for import and export, logistics and cargo services, ticket booking, or general merchandising? At Divine and Grace Enterprises, they specialize in seamless global trade, efficient cargo handling, top-notch travel support, and trusted merchant services. Whether it's getting your goods across borders, booking a flight, or managing cargo with precision, they deliver with speed, reliability, and care. You can visit them at Nako Export Warehouse, International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos State. You can contact them on 0803-406-1483, 0817-287-4375, or email it divineandgraceenterprises@gmail.com. Divine and Grace Enterprise, your reliable brand for logistics and merchandise.